Thank you very much. Once again, welcome you to MedSoul African Motives, whereby now we are going to look at sales management, which is a subject that falls under the Department of Business Studies. So now we are on NADED because it is sales management N5. So that is that. So we are going to look at the module 2, which is essential knowledge needed for successful selling. So we are going to talk about what knowledge that is needed for successful selling to make a trade successful. So for you to make a trade successful, there is a knowledge that a salesperson must have. So that is that. So now let us move on. So we are given that after this module, a student will be able to discuss the importance of salespeople having comprehensive knowledge, name and briefly discuss the company knowledge needed by salesperson, name and briefly discuss the industry needed by salesperson, name and discuss in detail product knowledge that is important for salesperson to have, list the sources of knowledge available to salesperson. So this is what the learner is going to be able to achieve after this module 2. Hope we are on one page. So now let us move on without wasting time and come to the importance of knowledge. Importance of knowledge. Why is knowledge important? That is that. So we are told that knowledge is an important cornerstone of a salesperson's success. It is an important cornerstone of what? A salesperson's success. Meaning to say, when we are saying knowledge is a cornerstone of salesperson success, we are trying to say knowledge is crucial, very crucial for salespeople because it is going to enable them to understand customers' needs. It's going to enable them, it's going to enable a salesperson, it's going to enable salesperson to understand customers' needs. That is why we are saying it's a cornerstone of salesperson person. Also, by understanding customer needs, it means the salesperson can be able to be in position whereby he or she can identify the pain points and tailor solutions. Also, communicate value. With this point, we can communicate value. Communicate value. So a salesperson can articulate product benefits, and unique selling points. That is that. Then it further says a salesperson must be able to position his product or service against what products or service, against competing products or services. That's what it says. A salesperson can do what you call what? A product positioning. A salesperson can do what you call product positioning. Product positioning. That is what you're told about. A salesperson can do what? A product position. So he is going to do a product position by doing what you call a differentiation, whereby he's going to highlight unique features and benefits of of the product and service that he is offering. He also can be able to do what? Comparison, whereby we are talking about contrasting with competing products or services. That is that. Then it further says, therefore, you will need knowledge of his product. You need what? Knowledge of his product or her product. This is where now you need to know about the features of the products, the ingredients that were used to come up with a finished product. You need to know fully the knowledge of how the product was developed. Hope you understand. The knowledge of the business. You need to know the knowledge of the business that you're working for, the history of the business, production method of the businesses. That is very important. Also, the knowledge of his competition. With knowledge of competition, you need to know the strengths and weakness of of the business that you are competing with. Also, you need to know the industry knowledge, as well as general knowledge. Those are the knowledge that a salesperson must be equipped with. Those are the general knowledge that the salesperson must be equipped with. So now let us move on. It further says, knowledge enables salesperson to answer questions and to provide information, approach his presentation professionally and with confidence, and overcome objections and achieve success in selling. So that is that. If you are knowledgeable, it means you are going to be able to answer the questions that are going to come from your prospectors, your potential customers. They are going to ask you questions, so it is going to be easy for you to give response. It's going to be easy for you to give a response. Easy to give response. That is going to be easy to give response. Also, you're going to provide information about changes that are going to come in the business. If there are changes, if there are new products in the business, you are going to be able to give the information to your potential customers. It's going to be easy for you to do that. Also, approach his presentation professionally. That's when you're talking about what presentation. This is where you're going to demonstrate now. You're talking about a demonstration now. It will be easy for a salesperson to do what? Demonstration. We're talking about demonstration. So you will be able to demonstrate or present the products in a professional way. That's when you will be able to communicate to them about the features, ingredients that made what a product. With what? With confidence. So when you have knowledge, you're going to have what? The confidence. It is going to be easy for you to stand before your potential customers, because you know for sure that you are going to be able to give fully about your products. Overcome objections. You know the customer, sometimes they can be reluctant about your products. Maybe the price, they can say the price is very high. Maybe they will say, they will even talk about the quality of the product. So it is going to be easy if you have knowledge to overcome the objections. Because as a salesperson, when the customers try to object to a product, you don't turn back to them and say, no, you surrender. No. You have to make sure that you overcome those objections by providing in detail about your products. So that's when you have a knowledge that you can be able to do that. If they're saying the price is too high, then you can be able to tell them why it is priced that. whereby now you can tell about the quality of the products and stuff like that, and how the product is going to attend to their needs. Hope we are together on that. And achieve success in selling. So that is that. So now let us move on. Now let us move on. Now it further said the most important is a product knowledge. Why is it the most important? It's because the product is the heart of the business. Product is a heart of the business. You cannot sell if there is no product. You cannot market if there is no product. That is why I'm saying a product is the heart of the business. Product is a heart of a business. Product is a heart of the business. That is why we are saying this is the knowledge that you first have to have as a salesperson. Features, product use, and the quality of the product in general. You need to know that. So it helps the salesperson to apply the advantages and need satisfaction to every prospect and to build his sales presentation on it. For example, when a customer wants to buy cars for economy, safety, and image reasons, the salesperson will build his presentation around this because you know which car is going to be able to meet those demand of certain customers who are looking for cars for safety. Others are looking it for image. So that will be easy for you to know which cars will be able to attend to these needs of people. So hope we are together on that. So now let us move on. Now let us move on. Therefore, knowledge leads to the following characteristics. Knowledge leads to the following characteristics. So the first characteristics that we're told about is self-confidence. Self-confidence. That's what you're told about. Self-confidence. So with self-confidence, it means that knowledge boosts confidence in pitches and interactions. It means knowledge boosts confidence in pitches and interactions. So that's what it means. So it says knowledge boosts a salesperson's self-confidence, especially when presenting the product and services. You know for sure that you are knowledgeable. You know for sure that you know much about your product. So you're not going to be afraid to stand before a potential customer. So it also gives a salesperson confidence in matching the product or service with the prospect customer's needs. That is that. So you can be able to match the product or service with what the customer needs. Hope we are together. Now let us move on to enthusiasm. Let us move on to enthusiasm. With enthusiasm, like we say, it's one of the characteristics of knowledge. It's one of the characteristics that we know for sure knowledge leads to. We know that this is wherever you're going to do what? Understanding products, or services, acts, parts, Junin, Sparks Union and the system. And the system. So that is that. So understanding product and service Sparks Union and the system. That is why it says knowledge contributes to heightened enthusiasm. The salesperson cannot be enthusiastic unless he knows all the strengths, of his product and business. So the salesperson enthusiasm heightens his effectiveness in influencing prospect, positively match his product to suit the prospect problems and needs. So that is the enthusiasm. You have to be able to show excitement into the products or service that you are offering to your customers. That's when you're talking about what the enthusiasm. Let us move on without wasting time. Knowledge again promotes specialization and professionalism. So it means that if you are knowledgeable, you're going to be expertise and credibility. We are talking about expertise and credibility. We're talking about expertise and credibility. And it says product knowledge helps the individual to be specialist. For example, an estate agent who specializes in the selling of a townhouse and more effective sales person. That is the knowledge. So you're going to be expertise in that field. So you're going to specialize on that to be what a real estate agent. So that's how you're going to be very good at that department. That is why I said expertise and credibility. Increased income. So with knowledge, there will be an increase in income. Effective selling leads to higher earnings. Leads to higher earnings. Effective selling leads to higher earnings. That is what product knowledge, self-confidence, enthusiasm contribute to salesperson success. Thus increase what? Sales. Because if you know your product, you can be able to tell the benefits of it. And that can help you to also have what is self-confidence. You can stand before your potential customers. And if you have interest when it comes to emphasis in the product that you're selling, that will contribute to the success of the business. Thus, that will increase the sales, which in turn leads to an increase in income. For example, receiving bonuses for exceeding targets and to also be promoted. That is that. So that is why they say product knowledge plus self-confidence plus enthusiasm lead to increased sales, more success equals to increase in income. Thank you. Let's move on. Now we are under personal development and progress. Personal development and progress, whereby we are talking about continuous learning, fosters growth. Fosters growth. Remember, our salesperson must remain a keen student throughout their life. They must remain because there are technological changes. So they have to always make sure that they are going to learn. And by so doing, they are going to grow. That's what we are talking about when we say personal development and progress. So it says the more knowledgeable salesperson becomes, the more he contributes towards his own personal development and growth. Knowledge leads to improved achievement and therefore progress in the workplace, and then we can even be promoted once you are now well developed. So that is that. So also knowledge builds what? Loyalty. Knowledge builds loyalty. So with knowledge, they say knowledge of the salesperson business and everything related to it gives a salesperson confidence in his business and product, which then leads to loyalty and defense of the business and its products and reputation and meaning. Meaning with knowledge, we are going to have what? Repeat purchases. Repeat purchases. Repeat purchase because the customers, they are always going to come back to our business because they are going to be loyal to us. They will always come to us and buy from our business indeed. So that is that. So now let us move on. Now let us move on to now the types of knowledge. The types of knowledge needed. Types of knowledge needed. So this is where we are. So the first one, it says, know your business. Know your business. That is that. So how you're going to know your business by the history of the business. History of the business. So the history now, you are to know the business history. So that is where you're going to understand the company's origins. That is about understanding the company's origins. That is about understanding the company's origins. Company origins, we're talking about the milestones, and also the evolution, So that is that. So you are to understand what the history of the company. That's when you understand the company's origins, the milestone of the company, and the evolution. Like as it says, the origin of the business. Like we've said, company's origins. So this is what we are told, that who was the founding members, shareholders, when and where and how it became, the mission statement of the company, and reasons for starting the business. That is all about what? Knowing what the origin of the business. Hope we are together. So now let us move on without wasting time. Early, yes. So now they're talking about the business early, yes. They're talking about the early years. So if with early years, we want you to know about challenges, success, lessons learned during the company's formative years. So meaning here we are talking about the formative years. Formative years. We are talking about the formative years of the company. Right? As we are told that the history of the earliest years, you need to know the equipment, machineries that were used by that time, the staff members that were there, financial position, first product that the business was selling, first areas covered. We can even talk about the market share that they were having, first customers, markets covered, production process that they were using at that time, their marketing, promotions, advertising, and how personal selling was handled at that time. So this is all about what? The formative years of the company, when the company started. So you need to know all those information, machinery, equipment that they were using, the staff that they were with at that time, products they were selling, and stuff like that. Now we come to the growth now. Now we come to the growth of what? Of the business. The growth of the business now. With growth of the business now, we have to do what you call familiarity. We have to familiarize ourselves with the company expansion, strategies, and achievement. So this is all about the familiarity. Familiarity with the company's expansion. With the company expansion. Familiarity with the company expansion. Familiarity with the company expansion. The company expansion strategies and achievements. So that is when you're talking about the growth of the business. We're talking about the familiarity with the company expansion strategy as well as the achievements of the company. As it says, knowledge of the business growth and changes have taken place. So as a serious person, you need to have a knowledge of what? Of a business growth. Changes that have taken place. That's when you're talking about what? Production processes. We are no longer doing the very same production process that we did in our earlier when we were in the formation stage. Financial growth, you need to know that production increases, changes in production ranges, price changes, growth in personnel, expansion in marketing, as well as the introduction of new products. So in short, you need to know about what the changes. Whenever you're talking about this, you're talking about the changes that took place. So as a sales person, you need to have a knowledge about the changes that happened as well. Now we are moving on to the sales philosophy of the business. The sales philosophy of the business. So we are here under sales philosophy of the business, like they're saying, slogan. So when we're talking about the sales philosophy of the business, we are talking about understanding company sales approach. We are talking about understanding a company's sales approach. Company sales approach. That's when we're talking about the sales philosophy. How do they approach company sales approach? How do they make their sales? What are their selling techniques? That is very important. That is why they even talk about what is slogan. So it says, how does the business get customers? That is why we need those techniques. How do they get customers to buy their products? For example, they say Spar uses philosophy of good for you. That is how they attract, or that is how they attract what the customers to buy from their store. Woolworth's slogan is the difference, meaning they are different from their rivals, they are different from their competitors. So that slogan works for them. That is that. The sales philosophy of the business must be spelled out clearly. Be spelled out clearly to who? To our salesperson. So the salesperson must know it and live by it. So it means our salesperson must know by heart the sales philosophy. The salesperson, he or she must know it by heart. The slogan or the philosophy of the business must not be erased into his mind. Must always, that should be into his mind every time he is interacting with potential clients. Let us move on. Now we come to production processes and methods. Production processes and methods. So this production processes and methods, this is whereby you are going to, that is a familiarity with how products and services are created. That is familiarity with how product and services are created. So that is a production methods. How are the products and services created? Very important. You need to have knowledge of how our products, the ingredients that we use, the features the product has, because you can't say to a potential customer that you don't know or you just arrived, so you're going to lose that customer. So you need to know the production uses, production methods, how you come up with a finished product. That is very important. A salesperson must know the basics about production process and methods are used in manufacturing the product he is selling. It can also be used as a competitive advantage. That's true. This will give you a competitive advantage if you know the production methods, production processes. When selling what? A product. That will give you a competitive advantage. That is very important. Now let us move on. Let us move on to distribution policy now. Distribution policy. So distribution policy, that is a knowledge of how products, that is knowledge of how products or services, how products and services are reach customers. Reach customers. That is that. How are your products and services going to reach in the hands of customers? You need to have that knowledge. That is very important. That is why they are saying the salesperson must know the following. Which branches stock certain products or all product ranges? So as a salesperson, you need to know so that you can be able to refer your customers to that branch. So that you can refer your customers to that branch. So it will be easy that you are not going to lose customers because you don't know about the other branches that are going to be able to attend to the needs of those customers. So it is going to be very important for referral. Going to be very important for referral. We can refer them to go to that branch that is going to be able to attend to their needs. That will be easy for referral. So it's very important that you need to know the branches that stock certain products or all product ranges that your branch doesn't have. Also for stock control, that is very important that you know, so that you know if it is winter, you know if you are selling coke, then how much and the demand of coke. You know, we're going to know that during winter, not many people are going to buy coke, but during summer times, that's when they can buy. So you are going to do what you call a stock control. How long it will take before the product will be delivered. That is the information. Minimum orders to be placed. Stock control, helping customers with stocking the right amount of products. So there is an example that is given there. Example, a salesperson who works for Coca-Cola company specifically can help a customer who starts a new business in that area. That's true. with stock control based on his experience. So with your experience, you can help a customer who start a new business in that area with stock control to say, during this time, we can stock this much. So during this time of the season, you can stock this much because that salesperson has what? An experience. Another example, all Woolworths stores do not stock the same product ranges. So if you are looking for the trainer brand, you'll find it only at the bigger Woolworths stores. So the salesperson at Woolworths must be able to tell the customer at which closest Woolworths store she will find that specific brand. That is why we have talked about which branches stock certain products and all product ranges. So hope we are together on that. Now let us move on. Now let us move on. So as you're moving on, the industry now. You need to have a knowledge of the industry your business falls under. So that is understanding that is understanding the sector, trends, and challenges. That is, you have to understand the sector and trends and challenges your business is operating under. So sector, we can talk about, let's say your business is under the industry of food and beverages. So you need to know the trends that are there. You need to know the challenges that are faced by that industry. That is very important. That is why it says the salesperson must have the following knowledge in the industry in which his business operates. That is that. Is the business market local, national, international, or the combination of the two? So you need to know the market of the business, the customers that you are saving. We're talking about the customers that you are saving. Are they local? You need to know the customers that the business is saving. Customers that business is saving. Are they locally, are they internationally, or it's combination of the two? So, or combination, that is that. Now you need to have a knowledge about the history of the industry. You need to know the performance as well of the industry. Also, market growth and profit potential of this industry. Is there any feasibility under this industry? Are you going to profit out of this industry or not? That's the knowledge that you need to have as a salesperson. We need to know those potential growth. What current events? So you're talking about the challenges that are going to face, that are facing the business, like you're saying current event, political, natural disaster, economic, government, that could affect the industry, problems in this industry. So you're talking about what? The problems that are currently faced by the industry. So that is what it means. So what government reviews currently affect your industry? You can talk of taxes, new laws that are taking place in that company. So what government reviews currently affect your business? That's when you can talk about tax, you talk of new laws that the government is coming up with. So such can affect your company. Size and trends of the industry. So we need to know the size of the trends of the industry so that you can know your market share. So this will help you to know your market share. If you know the size of the industry, so you know where you stand when it comes to the market share. Legislation, now we are talking about laws that applies to the industry. For example, RICA legislation, you know, if you talk of the RICA, you're talking about within the phones. So the phones, is it RICA or not? So that is that. Recent developments, for example, in the motor industry, there is a trend to buy smaller cars because of their more economical fuel consumption, given the higher fuel prices. So that is why people now they are going for smaller cars because of fuel consumption. So that is present developments that you need to know in that industry. Future tendency of the industry is business market share. So you need to know your market share and competitive advantage in this industry. So you need to know how many customers that you're going to serve. Maybe we can express it in percentage. If out of 100%, you're going to have 20%, that is that. Competitive advantage. How are you going to differentiate your business from your competitors in that industry? Who the leading business are in the industry? That is very important. Is the industry seasonal or not? Also, that is a very important information. Now let us move on. Now we are under competitors. You need to have knowledge about your competitors. That is also very important. Awareness of rival companies. We are talking about awareness of rival company. Awareness of rival companies, where you need to know about their strengths. You need to know about their strengths and weaknesses. And weaknesses. And weaknesses. So that's that. So you need to know about the salesperson should know the following about competitors, the product and service they provide. You need to know, have knowledge about what are they selling, how they market their products and service to consumers, the promotions that they use. That is very important. Also, the price of your products, it will help you so that you know how you're going to price your products. Looking at the cost, your cost should always, when you price the cost, the main thing that you have to look at. How they distribute and deliver the products, how do their products reach the hands of the consumers, also is very important, so that you know how you're going to try by all means to differentiate yourself or make it more better than theirs. The after-sales service that they offer to their customers, the media activities where they advertise, is it working for them? What are you going to do yourself as a business? How they use IT in the business, for example, website, email, social media, the size of their market share. That will also help your business to grow if you know what is going on with the businesses that you are competing with. That is that. Now we have to move on to product knowledge now. Move on to product knowledge. The product knowledge. As we know, the product is the heart of business. Product is the heart of the business. Product is the heart of the business. So it says product knowledge is utmost importance to the salesperson, because if he cannot answer the prospect questions about the product or prove that the use of product will enable the prospect to satisfy his needs or solve his problem or fulfill his desire, the salesperson cannot expect to achieve any success in sale. So you need to have knowledge, fully knowledge about your product. Like I've said, the features of the product, the production methods, how is the product going to attend to the needs of the customers. You need to have that knowledge as a salesperson. So product is a very important one. It's the heart of the business because you can't sell if there is no product. You can't market if there is no product. So this is one of the very important knowledge that you have to have as a salesperson, product knowledge. Let us move on. Now we are under the physical characteristics. Now we are under physical characteristics. Characteristics. So we are under physical characteristics. As it says, the salesperson must be able to describe his product's main features. What are the main features? The needs it satisfied clearly and with confidence. So what are the features of your product? That is very important. What your product is going to offer. What your product is going to offer. Is going to offer. That is very important. Is it going to attend to the needs of the customers? Is it going to solve the problem the customers have or not? That is very important. So that is why it says he must have knowledge to convert these features into product benefits. So this knowledge that he has about his products, he must convert it into product benefits. So it means that features must be able to attend to the problem of the customer. Customers need satisfaction. That is true. Other aspects of the product the salesperson must know are the patent rights. That's true. Specification, dimensions, capacity, the design of the product, adaptability, different types and models available of the product. Those are other aspects that the salesperson must know. Now we move on. So now we have what product ranges are now under product ranges. The salesperson must also be knowledgeable about the composition of his product ranges and when and why the product ranges was extended. That is that. Why business diversified. So you need to know the product ranges. So if your product was a Telfy, you're selling one Sonic, or you're selling Telfunky, now it is extended now to fridges. It's no longer only TVs. So you need to know why it was extended. That is what it means. Then matters such as specialized advantages when only one product is sold, or the service aspect when a series of products is sold. So in the case of fleet ownership of companies, are all facts the salesperson can use to his advantage. So that is the product ranges. That's when you're talking about the diversification, why the business diversified, why the business extended its product range. So you are to be able to be in position to give the reason why the business extended to that by giving the advantages when one product is sold and services when the series of product is sold. So that is when we are now, people are going to have what did they need under one roof. What they need under one roof. Let's move on. Let us move on. Now we are moving on. As we're moving on, let us make sure that we are still together and we understand one another, so that we are going to understand fully the module 2 of sales management. So now we are under sources of information. Where are you going to get the information as salesperson? Where are you going to get the information as salesperson so that you will be able to attend to the problems of your customers, help the business to grow? Where are you going to get this information? Experience gained in practice in the most important. Experience gained in practice is the most important. So you can go to those who are experienced in this industry. Also, you get the information through the training programs. We have said a salesperson must remain a keen student throughout his life. Go to training that will help you to have the information. You can go to internet, try to search and then try to see how you can be a successful salesperson. Mentors, go to mentors, get coaching. That will also help. Local chamber of commerce, that will also help. Sales manuals, portfolios, and broadcasts will also help. If you can go and try the ones to go through written, learn, and stuff like that. Sales meeting, attend those sales meetings, because that is where you can be able to get some techniques, new knowledge from the educational institutions. Go to school and learn about how to attend to customers, solve their problems, satisfy their needs. Also, you can get information from buyers, customers themselves. They can tell you what do they want and what they don't want. Trade shows and exhibition, for example, other salespeople and the library, not that much today anymore. So that is that. So that is how you can be able to get what the end of module 2. We are done with module 2 of sales management and 5. So when we meet, we are going to meet with module 3. So make sure that you're going to go through this presentation. It's going to help you a lot. It's going to make you be fit for the test 2 that is coming. Be fit for the final examination that you're going to write in November. Make sure that you're going to share with those who are concerned, and make sure that you don't forget to hit the subscription button. Thank you very much.